Hey, what is up, guys? So in this tutorial, we're just going to get an overview of different types of models that OpenAI provides, and we're also going to see the pricing behind those models, and then we would be seeing how you can limit the usage of these models, and in general, like how you can limit the usage of the entire API itself. So let's just begin with this thing. So you need to go to this place, openai.com, platform.openai.com/docs.model. If you just click on in here docs and here models, then you should be able to get to this place. But basically in this place, as you can see, they have listed all of their models that are publicly available, and obviously you can fine tune on some of them as well. So let's just begin with this thing. Obviously, as they say, these are some of the models that are going to be getting more updates as well in the future. So you can expect things to change for them as well. But so far, this is what they have so far. By the time I'm recording this video, this is what they have so far. So first model is GPT 4.0. And this is probably their most powerful model that is available, and anybody could use it. Although there is another powerful model than this one, which is GPT-4 Turbo, but this one is, I don't know, for some reason they have not mentioned that in here, but they did mention that it's it's much more efficient. But anyways, we can start from here. Just GPT 4.0. That's currently it points to this version. Basically it was released on this date. Context window. So context window is going to be the amount of input tokens that the model can take in. So when you do inferences, like that's the amount of token that you can add maximum. If it is more than this, then obviously you will error out. And it was trained until October 2023. So yeah, this is just GPT 4.0. And obviously, since it is one of their most powerful models, it is going to have a price which is higher than the rest of the models. So as you can see, it is going to charge you $5 per 1 million input tokens. So basically, the amount of words and amount of tokens that you use in doing the input, basically that would be charged. So for 1 million tokens, it's going to charge you $5. As you can see, that's still low because we don't add lots of words. We don't add 1 million words when we do an input, so that should be fine. But yeah, this is input tokens, $5. That's their pricing. As you can see, the pricing is a little bit different with batch API. So basically, this pricing is for streaming purposes. So basically, when you are just doing an inference and your application is interacting with the API live right away, in that case the response has to come like immediate from their API. So in that case the pricing is higher. But obviously if you use batch API, in which you have all of your requests in a batch and you send them, and basically it takes around some time for them to process them and send them back to you, in that case if you do that, then in that case the pricing would be much lower. You could use batch API in cases in which you have maybe a recommendation engine or something. In that case this should be fine. But if you have a streaming application, in that case obviously you cannot use the batch API. But other than that, you can use the regular API. As you can see, it's different for input tokens and output tokens. So basically, whenever you give any input, any kind of question or something to the ChatGPT, then in that case that's considered as an input token, right? And the response that it gives, that's considered an output token. Interestingly, in order to you can control both of them. So the way to control your input tokens is obviously by managing your input. If you keep your input low, then in that case your input tokens would be considered lower. In order to control the output tokens, you can always specify when doing the API request that this is the maximum amount of tokens I want. Then in that case you would get response under those tokens. Sometimes there are also cases in which a model is told to do multiple outputs, and then you can choose one out of all those three or four outputs. Then in that case that output, even though you might have specified that token, like the number of tokens to output, but since you are getting 3 or 4 outputs, in that case the number of output tokens would be considered like 3 times or 4 times. So you just need to consider those things, and you should be good to go after that. But yeah, this is the pricing, $5 per million tokens, input tokens. and it almost gets 50% with batch API, $15 per for output tokens, and again 50% off in batch API. Now they also have other some other models, as you can see, GPT-4o mini. Now one thing actually I forgot to mention, by the way, 4o, it's actually considered a multimodal model. So basically a multimodal model is a kind of a model that can not only take a text as an input, but it can also take things like images and maybe like audio files and those kind of things as an input as well. So it's a multimodal model. The same here, GPT-4o, it's also a multimodal model. It has, as you can see, it has higher intelligence than GPT 3.5 Turbo, but at the same time, it is, I believe, as quick as the GPT 3.5 Turbo as well. So again, the same thing goes here as well. Context window is the same as before, and yeah, it points to this date, trained until this date, and the pricing obviously is going to be lower in this case. So if I scroll down, as you can see, previously, if you remember, it was $5 for a million token. Now it's like really low, almost like, I don't know, 5-6 times lower. So yeah, that's the case. So yeah, pricing goes really low in this case, right? The other models that they have is obviously GPT-4 Turbo and GPT-4. Now these models will be obviously even more powerful than the previous one, as I've said before. But yeah, that's the case so far, and I believe they would also have a higher pricing as well. Sorry, let me put this back. Yeah, but obviously they are going to have a higher price. I don't think they have mentioned the price on this page. But yeah, they're here. As you can see, for a million token of input, you are going to be charged $10, so which is going to be like double of 4.0 that we have seen before, right? It's double of this thing. So yeah, that's the model. But you can always come to this place and get to know these models even more. As you can see, with some of these models, the context window is getting lower. Reason being, if you are running an application in which you don't need a lot of context, then in that case, you can use these type of models as well. GPT 3.5 Turbo, this was released way before, and yeah, you could see the context window gets lower. Obviously with this thing, the pricing is also going to be lower. If I scroll down, maybe I can find it somewhere here. Yeah, there you go. So as you can see, the pricing is way lower, like almost 10 times lower than our GPT, I believe, 4.0, right? Then you go to the image generation model. So basically these are models that would take text from you and they would generate image as a result. OpenAI provide these two models. This is the latest, and this is the previous version of this model. Pricing is I believe it's a little bit expensive, honestly. Where is this? Let me find this. Yeah, there you go. So as you can see, if you want to create standard quality using DALL-E and with this resolution, then in that case you're going to be charged almost 4 cents per image. So let's say if you are generating 100 images, then in that case you would be charged $400, I believe. But yeah, that's the case. You can also generate high definition, obviously with higher prices, and this is the price for DALL-E 2 as well. Moving on, we have a text-to-speech model. So basically, this model is going to take text from you. It's going to generate speech in here as well. And then we have this other model in which I believe it takes audio and it can it can recognize speech, and as well as speech translation and language identification. So basically, this is a inverse model from text-to-speech. Yeah. So in here they do provide the pricing for both of them. So text-to-speech model is going to be $15 for a million characters. So basically this would be text that you give as an input. It's going to charge you $15 again for $1 million for a million characters of inputs. Character, I believe, would be every single alphabet, every single number stuff, maybe like even column and comma and stuff. So those things would also be considered as a character, and you're going to be charged $15 for a million characters. For obviously high definition audio, it's going to be double in this case. Whisper, this is again another model, so it's going to charge you 0.6 cents for every minute of sound recognition and like translation. Then we are coming to embeddings, and this is also one of the useful models, honestly, because you know, in here you are obviously not getting a text as an output. What you're getting is an embedding as an output, and you can use those embeddings to create lots of things like you can do recommendation engines. You can do other things as well with it. So yeah, this is a text embedding model, and I believe this is going to be a little bit cheaper, if I'm not mistaken. Let me bring that here. Yeah, as you can see, it's going to be way cheaper. It's going to charge you I believe 20 cents for a million token for streaming applications. If you you might use embeddings in a RAG application, which is retrieval augmented generation. We're going to do some project on that as well, so there you will have a better idea as to where to use this type of model. But yeah, that's the case. Obviously the output of this thing would be a vector of vectors, so basically it would be a list of lists that you're going to get from this thing, from as an output of this model. Then you have moderation. So basically this is a type of model that helps you to detect and remove things like hate speech, self-harm, and these kind of violence and graphic and stuff. So you can remove those things, and these are again moderation model, and I believe this would also be a little bit cheaper as well. We just have to find it somewhere. But yeah, it's also going to be a little bit cheaper. They have not mentioned it here, but yeah, you can find it. Then you have some other models which not many people are going to use. These were some older models, I believe. They do say yeah, they are older models, so we don't have to worry about them. And with this thing we come to the end of all their models. So yeah, this is the official page, and this is all the type of models that they have. Pricing, as you guys have seen, we have covered the pricing as well. Now there's one last thing that we should consider, and that's called limits. So if you go to this place in your settings, and in settings you go to limits, and in here this is where you can specify things. So we need to set limits usually, although that's not required, but this is something that's important. Reason being, let's say if you are running an application and you are I don't know, you forgot to turn off or something, and next day you wake up and you have your charge, I don't know, like $50,000 something. Obviously we don't want those kind of surprises. So one of the things you can do is you can set up a limit. So they have this thing, a set an email notification threshold. So this is like a soft limit. Basically, if you pass this number, then it's going to send you an email, and you can set up a monthly budget. If you set up if you exceed this thing, then in that case it's going to put a hard stop. You would not be able to use the API if you exceed this thing. And here, as you can see, the this amount of usage is actually officially provided from OpenAI, that you should use this thing. You should not use more, your organization at a smaller level should not use more than this thing, more than $120. So that's the case. But yeah, you can always set these thresholds and budget, and you can always have that hard stop, so that you don't end up using a lot of tokens. So yeah, with this thing we come to the end of this tutorial. We saw different models and their pricing, and we also saw the limit, how you can limit those things. See you guys in the next tutorial, in which we're going to do actual inference using Python code, and we would be using the API as well.